Hello everyone and welcome back to another Top Korean Movies video. As always, I'm your host Ian from EonTalk, and today's video will be on the best K-movies by genre. I've made several videos going over my favorite Korean movies by genre, such as best Korean comedies, thrillers, rom-coms, melodramas, and more. If you haven't checked those out yet, be sure to do so as I go over numerous must-watch Korean films. I'll link those in the descriptions down below. In today's video, I'll be selecting one Korean movie from those various genres and be recommending one must-watch movie amongst 10 different genres. The genres I'll be covering in today's video will be action, comedy, crime, gangster/noir, historical, horror, melodrama, rom-com, thriller, and war. But before getting into the list, I'd just like to remind you that this list is ranked based on my personal recommendations, which means they are totally biased towards my opinions. Also, I tried refraining from recommending the number one movies from those other videos I made, since those can date back to over a year from now, and looking back on it, I had a slight shift in opinions. Not to mention, in order to reflect a new, updated perspective. The order of the list will be in alphabetical order by genre. Okay then, that being said, let's get right into today's video on Best K-Movies by Genre. Starting off the list, the must-watch action film out of Korean cinema. The action K-movie of my choice goes to one of the oldest on this list, Oldboy. Oldboy is not only a great action film, but is also an incredible thriller and mystery movie as well. The film stars Choi Min-sik, Yoo Ji-tae, Kang Hae-jung, Kim Byung-wook, Oh Dal-soo, and Yoon Jin-seo, and was directed by one of Korea's most well-known directors, Park Chan-wook. Park Chan-wook also directed other great films such as Joint Security Area, The Handmaiden, Thirst, and Sympathy for Lady Vengeance. Oldboy has one of the best twists and has numerous memorable scenes. Definitely a must-watch. Next, the must-watch comedy. The Korean comedy that I chose as one of my favorites is the most recently released film on this list, Exit. Starring the likes of Cho Jung-seok, Yoona of Girls' Generation, Ko Do-sim, Park In-hwan, Kim Ji-young, and Kang Gi-young, Exit is an amazing action comedy and does both genres so well. It really defined Yoona as a great actress for me, as she and Cho Jung-seok were absolutely hilarious in this. The movie was directed by Lee Sang-geun, and if you haven't checked this one out yet, be sure to do so. The film is currently available on the Korean Netflix with English subtitles. If you would like to access more Korean movies through services like the Korean Netflix, I highly suggest using ExpressVPN to connect to servers from other locations to gain access to more Korean content. By using ExpressVPN, you can bypass geo restrictions, meaning you can be from anywhere around the world and access the Korean and other countries' servers. If you'd like to access more Korean content, be sure to sign up for ExpressVPN using my link in the descriptions or expressvpn.com/EonTalk and get 49% off an annual plan, plus 3 extra months for free. Better yet, if you sign up and don't like the service, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, meaning you can cancel anytime within the first 30 days. Okay, getting back to the video, the crime film of my choice goes to the 2017 film, The Outlaws. The Outlaws stars Don Lee aka Ma Dong-seok, Yoon Ge-sang, Cho Jae-yoon, Choi Gi-hwa, and Jin Sung-gyu, and was directed by Kang Yoon-sung, who also directed Long Live the King. The film is based on true stories that took place in 2004 Seoul, which makes the film that much more intriguing. The movie not only has Don Lee's incredible action performance, but really showcased Yoon Ge-sang as a chilling villain. It's Yoon Ge-sang that had a very memorable performance for me, and this really marked the start in major popularity for Jin Sung-gyu. Moving along, the next genre is one of my favorites when it comes to Korean cinema, gangster/noir. The film of my choice in this genre goes to the 2013 release movie, New World. Directed by Park Hoon-jung, who also directed other incredible films such as The Tiger, VIP, The Witch Part 1, The Subversion, and most recently, Night in Paradise, New World isn't only one of my favorite Korean gangster movies, but also one of my favorite Korean movies in general. I've got a video going over hidden secrets and facts about the film titled Things You Didn't Know About New World, so be sure to check that out to learn some entertaining info regarding the film. Anyways, New World had amazing performances by Lee Jung-jae, Choi Min-sik, Hwang Jung-min, Park Sung-wook, and Song Ji-hyo. This is a must watch. The next category of must-watch K-movies is historical dramas. The historical drama that I chose as a must-watch goes to the movie released in 2012, Masquerade. Directed by Chu Chang-min, who also directed Mapado, Lost in Love, I Love You, and 7 Years of Night, Masquerade had amazing performances by Lee Byung-hun, Ryu Sung-ryong, Han Hyo-ju, Kim In-kwon, Chang Gwang, and Ji Min-kyung. This was my personal favorite Korean historical drama as it had lots of humor scattered throughout its movie, which kept it from being too serious, which some historical films are guilty of. Furthermore, Lee Byung-hun absolutely killed it, playing double roles in the movie. The must-watch horror K-movie of my choice goes to the 2016 released masterpiece, The Wailing. The Wailing was directed by Na Hong-jin, who also directed The Chaser and The Yellow Sea, and starred the actors Kwak Do-won, Hwang Jung-min, Kunimura Jun, Chun Woo-hee, and Kim Hwan-hee. This is one of the most globally recognized K-movies. I say this is right up there alongside Train to Busan in terms of recognition, and I believe The Wailing is the only horror movie that I voluntarily watched a second time. If you know me, I'm not a big fan of the horror genre, and so for me to actually thoroughly enjoy this says a lot. From the story to the acting and just the atmosphere it provides, I highly enjoyed the film. Next, my favorite Korean romance melodrama goes to the 2004 release film, A Moment to Remember. Directed by Lee Jae-an, whose other works includes Operation Chromite and 71 Into the Fire, A Moment to Remember stars the incredible couple of Jung Woo-sung and Son Ye-jin. Son Ye-jin is an icon when it comes to the melodrama genre, and what's amazing is that she's still able to pull off those romance roles. Although A Moment to Remember is nearly 17 years old now, the movie doesn't feel old at all and has aged very well. Older films tend to be on the slower side a lot, but A Moment to Remember had me intrigued throughout its duration. K-films aren't only good with melodramas, but rom-coms as well. My recommendation of Korean rom-com that's a must-watch goes to the film that was released in 2018, titled On Your Wedding Day. Directed by Lee Seok-kun, who doesn't have other directorial works, but worked on adaptations for The Honest Candidate, The Bros, and The Outlaws, On Your Wedding Day is one of the realest movies I've seen. I found myself laughing out loud, while also being shaken by the emotional scenes as well. If you like K-dramas like Oh My Ghost or Let's Fight Ghost, or movies like Very Ordinary Couple or Architecture 101, I highly recommend you watch On Your Wedding Day. And now, we're down to just 2 genres. First, one of the best when it comes to Korean cinema, thrillers. One of the best Korean thrillers in my opinion is the oldest film on this list, Memories of Murder. Directed by the legend himself, Bong Joon-ho, this movie tops the list for not only best Korean thriller for a lot of people, but the best thriller in general. This movie was based on true events, and the film gets extremely suspenseful as it progresses. Memories of Murder is considered as the best Bong Joon-ho film by many, even surpassing Parasite, and I can definitely understand why, as this is a definite must-watch. And finally, the last genre of today's video, war films. The number 1 spot of EonTalk's list of best Korean war movies goes to the 2004 release film, Taegukgi Brotherhood of War. This, by far, hands down, is the best war movie out of Korean cinema, in my opinion. Taegukgi was directed by Kang Jae-gyu, the director of My Way, Shiri, and Awaiting, and although this movie was released nearly 16-17 years ago, it still holds the spot for the best Korean war movie. Taegukgi starred the incredible duo of Chang Dong-gun and Won Bin as the main cast, as well as Lee Yoon-ju, Gong Young-jin, Chang Min-ho, and Lee Young-nan as the supporting cast members. This film is one of the most emotional movies I've seen and shows a totally different side to Won Bin from The Man from Nowhere and Mother. And that's it for today's video on best Korean movies by genre. Some films that you may believe should have made it on this list may not have been included, but please remember that this list was based on my personal recommendations. Nevertheless, I'd love to hear which movies you believe are the best in respective categories, as well as movies on this list that you've seen and enjoyed, so please leave a comment or join in on the discussions on the EonTalk Telegram group, linked in the descriptions. If you enjoyed this video and would like more similar content, be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to sign up for ExpressVPN using the EonTalk link to access more Korean movies. Support EonTalk on Patreon for more K-movie content, and if you have requests for other genres or other types of content, please let me know by commenting down below. Once again, thank you to everyone that watched till the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.